Good evening, folks, and welcome to this week's episode of Beer Rating with Sean Connors. It's June 3rd, first week of June 2020. Unfortunately, we're still in the pandemic, so I hope everybody's doing well, taking care of themselves, taking care of their family and friends, washing their hands, and all that good stuff. Anybody that follows me on a regular basis, you'll know that last month for May, I had a load of Scottish beers. And this month, I have the Irish Heritage Pack. This one's a little bit different. When I picked it up, I didn't realize it, but my understanding is all four beers are produced in St. James Gate, which is in Dublin, the Guinness factory. Normally, I wouldn't do all beers of the same brewery. It happened last month with the Scottish. I had the historic beers of Scotland, and it just so happens that the same thing this month. So, 4 beers from the Irish Island. Anybody who knows me, Sean Patrick Connors, I have a little likeness for anything Irish. My ancestors actually came from Waterford, Ireland, down on the southwest coast of Ireland. Being there myself, been to Ireland 3 times. Like I said, probably a little bit biased. What I like about this box too is it's 4 beers, 4 weeks in the month. 4 types of beers, 2 of each. Because usually I buy 1 beer. This one I got 2 of each. This one's also a little different, because I've said before, normally I don't review beers that I've had. There's a few that I do, but normally I try not to. However, in this case, I know I've had a Guinness. I've had Kilkenny a while ago. Smithwick's I'm not too sure. I think I might have. And Harp's I think I might have, but once again I'm not too sure. So even though it's beers that I've had, I can't tell you a lot about them. Pretty sure I did enjoy them, because if I really didn't like them, I definitely would have remembered. So the first one we got is, I'll zoom in here so you can see, it's the Harp Lager. And normally when I'm being in Ireland, if I'm sitting in a pub, I do like a Guinness, but a Guinness is not something I can drink a lot of. So a lot of times what would happen if I'm in an Irish pub is I'll start off with something what I consider more light-bodied, like a Harp's. And then I'll probably go to like a Smithwick's or a Kilkenny, something like that. And then by the end of the night, I'll probably have 1 or 2 Guinness just to finish it off. So today I'm going to try the Harps. So let's see what we have. 5% alcohol. It's a lager. Drink responsibly. Contains barley. Brewed in Ireland. So not a whole lot of information. I did do a little bit of Google search. I can tell you a little bit about it. So before I open, I'll just tell you a little bit of what I know. Basically, in 1960s, lagers were becoming more they were already popular in Europe, but they were becoming, the trend was going more towards lager. And I assume it would be the same in Ireland as the rest of Europe. So in the 1960s, Guinness actually decided to convert a brewery in Dundalk, D-U-N-D-A-L-K, so I'm probably not pronouncing it right. There's already a brewery there, and they converted it into a lager brewery for bottled beer. And the brewery at the time was Great Northern Brewery. They brought in a German brewer, and he overseen it. And at the time, they weren't sure what they were going to call this new lager. They considered Atlas, what else? Dolphin was another name. And Cresta was another name. And then originally they decided on Harps, which was pretty good idea. I mean, the Harp is symbolic for Ireland. So that was 1960. 1961, Guinness joined with, I believe, 5 other breweries to basically brew and market the Harp beer. And I understand they also rebuilt a brewery in Great Britain to distribute it in Britain. 1964, they actually started producing in draft, and it was actually quite a leader in sales. Fast forward 2005, the parent company of Guinness, which at that point was D-I-A-G-E-O, Diageo Ireland, they basically separate the brand from Guinness. And what that means, I'll be totally honest, I'm not really sure, but that's from Wikipedia, that's what I got of it. And then 2009, they actually announced the closure of the Dundalk Brewery. Was going to take place over 5 years, and they also did the same with Kilkenny, which I haven't done a whole lot of any research on, but researching this, they also mentioned as they closed the Great Northern Brewery, they also had plans to close the Kilkenny brew over a period of 5 years. So my understanding right now, the Harp is actually produced at St. James Gate. And if you're not familiar with St. James Gate, that's the main Guinness brewery in Dublin. So if you're ever in Dublin, by all means check it out. You do the brewery tour, they show you all about Guinness, the history of Guinness, how it's made. And then they finish off at the top of the building, which I believe is one of the higher buildings in Dublin, where they have a bar set up, 360-degree view, and as part of your admission, you get to have a Guinness. So there you go. As I mentioned, so it's brewed in St. James Gate for distribution in Ireland. In Great Britain, they have Hyde Brewery. They actually produce it. In Australia, it's Carlton, I think, Unified Brewery. And in North America, it's actually Guinness Canada producing Harp for distribution at the Moosehead Brewery in New Brunswick. So there you go, a little bit of information on the Harp. Okay, so let's pour it up. See what we got. Anybody watch all of my reviews? I love trying new beers, but my preference, if I had to say, would be lagers over ales. Not saying I don't like ales, but my go-to beer would definitely be a lager. Time and place also, I mean, a hot day, a lager's the way to go for me. So there you go, pretty clear brew, nice golden color, nice little bit of head. Typical lager aroma. Lagers in generally are known as more clear, clean, and crisp, where ales are more flavorful. So this looks and smells like a typical lager. So let's see how it tastes. It's pretty good. I like it, which I kind of figured I would. So. Pretty easy drinking. As I said, I got a second one there, so it's not going to be an issue hitting that bad boy later on this evening. So I kind of like about this pack, there's 2 of each. Alright, take another little sip and then we'll talk about a rating. Definitely an easy drinking beer. My ratings, as always, are a 5, a 1 being a drain port, don't like it, can't even finish it. Happened once so far. A 2 being, yeah, I'm not a big fan, but I'll finish it because I don't want to waste the beer. 3 is a good beer. 4 is a very good beer, and a 5 would be the best beer. And these ratings are basically my personal preference. There's no science or anything else about it. So I have to give the Harp a rating, the Harp Lager. I obviously like it, and I think I'd go as far as saying I like it a lot. So with that being said, my rating would be a very good beer at 4.0. So there you go, folks. That's my rating for this week. I hope everybody can join me next week. Next week, I'm not sure. I'm leaning towards either the Smithwick's or the Kilkenny. I think I'm going to keep the Guinness for last, but I'm probably going to go with the Smithwick's next week, but Smithwick's, we'll have to play it by ear and see what happens. So there you go, folks. 4.0 for the Harps. Hopefully you can join me next week. Hopefully everybody's, once again, taking care of themselves, their friends, and their family, washing their hands, social distancing, and all that great stuff. Hopefully you can join me next week. Until next brew, as always, enjoy responsibly. Cheers. Good brew.